Yeah, the hunt is on. Every step I take is with my gauge. I'm selling dope. I can't live on fucking minimum wage. A young black man, now you know what that means, G. A hard life, and ain't nobody hiring me. Too black, too strong for this fucking little system, man. No Uncle Tom, so I'm fucking up that little plan. So fucking scared that I might just up and retaliate. You ask me why, should my heart be filled with hate? Motherfuck the past, talking about shit that's happening here today. I'm on my knees, oh Lord help me control this rage. I'm being teased like a beast, locked within a cage. They're setting traps, and almost killed me twice, you see. They won't feel safe till they got me hanging from a tree. I'm still running, but I got the Lord on my side. Pour a drink on the corner for my homies that have fought and died. Ain't nothing changed, I still live my life in fear. I ask you, God, where we go from here?
What's up, man? It's T.O.G and Marilla, man. What it do, bro?
Man, it's doing it. What's happening with you?
Chilling, man.
Yeah.
Blessed to be here.
Yeah, man.
Another week.
Another week.
Huh?
Another one.
All right, man.
Hey.
So look, you already know how we do it. How was the week? How was your week?
Man, you know, like I said, I stayed reflecting, and this week, man, we had a somewhat of family meeting. You know, I'm telling it, and how from my perspective, you know, I got 3 sisters and I got 3 brother-in-laws.
Yeah.
And my wife wasn't there, but you know, she was there with me. But anyway, the things that we opened up and the conversations we had and the clarity that we got.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't think that they thought certain things and I didn't think certain things that they were doing. We all got it clear for the most part, at least a start. Yeah. And to me, that was like a true blessing to even go through that, to get there.
Got you. So look, my week, man, still been kind of moving pretty steady. You know me, I've been strictly on, you know, about the kids, about the family. How can I be a better husband? You know, still on that, better father, better friend, better son, better brother, anything. I'm just working on, you know, I really, you know what I'm saying, I really want to be the best at whatever I'm trying to do. You know, we'll chop it up sometime about what we're trying to do. Right. And we're always just trying to, you know,
it's just growth. I mean, just continue to grow, continue to be a blessing to you, to yourself, to your others, and just man, let's change the atmosphere of your life. And it's all how you think and how you carry yourself and how you speak toward the life that you're living. See, a lot of times we speak these negative things within our own atmosphere, and then wonder what's happened. Why does this happen? Why does that happen? But you be done spoke this. You know what I'm saying? Or you be done let something carry on for too long. Like I told my sisters, you know, I mean, we ain't had no beef, but we didn't have no talk. You know what I'm saying? We weren't beefing, but we weren't talking.
Communication.
Yeah, so the talking opened up more doors, you know, open up more, you know, and then it made me realize that, you know, everyone in your life is special. Treat them like that.
Exactly. Conversation rule the nation.
Yeah. Okay, now what we got going on today?
So man, look here, man. We got a special guest today, man, and I've been watching this guy for many years. He's a Woodlawn alumni.
Oh, okay.
I noticed we starting to have a bunch of people from Woodlawn, right?
Woodlawn, the wood, baby. That's what they call it now.
So, he's a Woodlawn alumni, man, and he do real estate, right. And I've been watching him. So
thank you.
Without further ado, man, we're gonna introduce Carl Christian, man.
Carl Christian, how you doing?
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on too, bro.
Hey, thanks for the invite, Lindell and Tim. I really appreciate you guys, man. And talking about Woodlawn, I started 1976 when I first entered the hallways of Woodlawn. My inspiration came as a result of watching Tony Nathan, who played football.
We just talked about that the other week. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I don't start. I just want to get the atmosphere. What the atmosphere was like, man? You know.
Well, the atmosphere was pretty much, it was transitioning. Segregation had been maybe 4 years removed back in '72. And so when I got there, everybody, because I have a built-in system, because I played football, I had a built-in system, ready-made friends, because all the football players were kind of, even to this day, I know a lot of the guys out there that I still stay in contact with.
Okay.
So at that time, because I was a little nerdy kid walking the hallways of the Woodlawn, and so for me personally, I just got acclimated to school itself. and I love to play football, like I said. And of course, during that transitional period, it was an era when you had to pretty much cling to one another.
Okay.
That attitude of, hey, I can do something.
So it was. Let me tell you what I'm getting. I'm getting that. Okay, even though the transition had gone and it was moving forward,
right.
Tony Nathan had did what he did.
Right, he paved the way.
You still had to understand that y'all still needed each other.
Exactly.
You did not want to lose that. We still needed each other. That was, even after all the stuff we've been through, you still needed each other, and y'all had that type of unity. See, that's the type of thing I love. I love to hear that. Go ahead, man.
Right.
Stop.
Yeah, that's okay. Good, Tim. So in that respect, because of Tony, when he laid the groundwork for, and even they made a movie.
Woodlawn, baby.
So if you watch the movie, you'll see that the segregation and the integration part took place, and it was smooth. And sometimes we may say to ourselves that we're still far removed from that, but we aren't. We're still just as segregated.
You're talking about
now as we were back then. But the difference is it's more sophisticated in terms of the segregation part. But my thing of it is because I am a Christian, not just Carl Christian. I believe that there's no black heaven, no white heaven.
Right.
And so we have to learn to live together. And I think because the groundwork that was laid for us, we did get along and things did get better. And we paved the way for the generations after us. And so with that, being at Woodlawn, I worked during high school. I was industrious because I was raised by my grandparents who actually instilled in me a work ethic. Anything that I wanted, I worked for it. So that instant ability to go out and get what you and work for what you want was there. So it was already embedded in me to do that.
And that was at that time, Stockham. You had U.S. Steel. You had what? U.S. Pipe.
U.S. Pipe, TC&I.
TC&I. You had ABNC. You had different factories, and most of the black men in these neighborhoods were working in these factories, which had good jobs and all that, and took care of their family. But the thing about it is, my granddad used to make $239 a week, and used to take care.
A family of how many?
I don't know.
The whole family.
Yeah. So, and I like what you said that and I remember those times that you had to work. If you didn't work, you didn't eat.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So
scriptural.
And that this is if you didn't work, you didn't eat. Okay, think about it.
Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you this: did you ever meet Tony Nathan during that time?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I think my senior year he had just gotten drafted back in '79.
Okay.
By the Miami Dolphins. And not only that, I knew Tony because of his brother Vince, who I played football with, Vince Nathan. And so during that time, man, it was I was ecstatic, just to have met him. But somebody, my thing of it is somebody is always out there watching, so you never know who's watching you. And just, and just personally now, just watch how you carry yourself. Just be natural, just be real.
What position you play?
I played defensive back.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a defensive back.
Number?
I like the head versus the
number. What's your number?
I was number 7.
Man, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, lucky number 7. Yeah.
Man, look, Coach Stern wouldn't let nobody get that number. Jeff Reynolds finally got that number. When we got there.
It was good like that?
When we got there.
That never came as a result of me. No, just
I'm telling you, when Jeff Reynolds ended up getting that number.
Okay.
But I don't know if it was just the fact that it was a single number, but it couldn't have been that because they were wearing single numbers.
Yeah, they were.
But he wouldn't let nobody get that number. Jeff will tell you, Jeff ended up getting that number.
Okay.
Wow. So it was when you said number 7, I remember that.
Yeah.
That little skit. Yeah.
So that was my number 7. So, but after that part, after finishing Woodlawn, I went on to Troy State. Had offers to go and play elsewhere, but I went to Troy State which is Troy University now, where I just dropped my daughter off last
week. Keep it in the family.
Yeah, so 42 years later, she's down there trying to complete her degree in nursing. So I went to Troy State as a walk-on, although I had offers to go elsewhere. But I went with a friend, Chuck Liano, who's now deceased, good friend back in the day, and we played football, both defensive back. Yeah. And my experience at Troy was phenomenal. Just had a great time just to get to know the campus life.
College life.
And so and Troy's not like it was back then. It was just a little college on the prairie back in the day.
Yeah.
A small school. But man, that's a mega university now.
Yeah.
And that was really on the map. it ranks up there. It's Division 1A now.
Yeah, I
whereas
know,
Before
yeah.
it's Division 2.
Yeah.
And so it's a phenomenal institution.
You go back and visit?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and visit now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so with that, it's just a nice college, nice atmosphere, and my major was communication. So once I finished, left Troy, I only stayed 1 year, got burnt out in football, and I eventually came back here to complete my education, got a BA degree from UAB in communications.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went from communication to. So how did we go from communication to where you at now?
The real estate. So that's a good question. So I always think you always communicate with folks.
Right.
And you don't have to have a Bachelor of Arts in communication
Right.
to do that. But no, my initial aspirations were to become a journalist, broadcaster of sorts. And so with that, I just hunkered down and wanted to do communication. But what happened, I got my first and only job in my field, which was radio sales back in the day at WAPI, I-95 back in the day. So I worked there 1 year as a account executive, selling radio advertising. Did that for a few months, and then eventually I ended up getting a job working as a tobacco rep, marketing cigarettes, then smoke, and then it was just a job.
Yeah, making money.
Yeah, just making money.
Yeah.
And so the straw that broke the camel's back was, I'll never forget, it's January 4th, 1990.
I
got
can't
it
stop
pinned
right there.
down.
You got the date. It was 12/20.
Yo,
No, it was 9 o'clock.
you got it pinned down. So
It was 9 o'clock a.m. I'll never forget.
okay.
So, yeah, Tim, it was 9 o'clock. Okay.
Wow.
So after that point, so what had happened prior to getting into that day, the dreaded day that I'll tell you about in a minute,
Okay.
I had started real estate school in 1990 at Don Williams School of Real Estate. And so I kind of saw that coming on board that, hey, this is about to come to an end, but I really wasn't prepared for it. A good friend of mine, we played football together in high school, Roderick McKinney. He and I later became partners. McKinney and Christian Realtors. And so Roger used to be a manager at Eckler's drugstore. So every time I would go in there, he said, man, you need to do real estate. You're a sharp young brother. You need to do this. And that's why I say sometimes it takes somebody to nudge us. To inspire
Tell me
us
about it.
Yeah. So I said, man, this guy must be really doing this. So what happened, I was visiting his stores, servicing his stores back in June of that year, 1990. And so about a couple of months later, Roger said, man, I'm going to do this full time. So when I went back to one of his stores, he had completely left Eckert's Drugs store. That was the name of the store back in the day. And he had completely left, and he had gone into real estate full time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so 1990 started Don Williams School of Real Estate. That dreaded day, January 4th, 1991, 9 o'clock a.m., I got fired from my job. And man, I thought my world had come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because I had lost a job, I cried like crazy.
Right.
It wasn't because I loved the job, and I was crying over that. All I could say was bills, house, no car, no
Yeah.
Man, they give a moment of silence.
But it's
Listen, ain't nothing worse than a man, as a man,
Yeah.
and something like that hit, and
Yeah.
you done got your stuff set up every month, and all of a sudden you seeing it. Man,
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
I know you were hurt. I
Especially
know
you
it,
got
was,
a family.
Yeah, that kid came to a screeching halt.
it brought your faith in play.
Yes, it did. So my prayer at that time, and this is honest goodness truth, I went to the restaurant, I was crying, and they getting ready to drop me off at the house because they had taken my company vehicle.
Ain't this?
And yeah, so it was almost, so when I went into the restaurant, I cried, I said, Lord, I prayed this prayer. I said, Lord, I don't ever want to work for nobody ever again. And that's an honest to goodness truth.
Sound like me, boy.
And I got to the point, man, I cried. So what happened,
Yeah.
that same prayer came back to haunt me. So I tried to get a job. Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
I couldn't get hired anywhere.
Okay.
And so in the midst of
It
that,
wasn't meant
I was
for you
still
to get
doing real estate. I was going to real estate school. So finally, this is how good God is. The same company I went to work for was in the building I got fired for as an agent. As an agent, I worked in that same building. So my only theme at that point was because Roderick McKinney, my partner and friend at the time, and Rod and I still talk, and was that, hey, I'm going to make this work. And so what happened, and I see in real estate, you have to have a support system. As I look back on it years later, you have to have a support system to kind of, inspire you to do the best you can be in anything. And so what I saw in doing real estate, you're so independent. You're your own business person. Your income is dictated by your efforts.
Right.
You're not working or showing a house or listing a house or showing a buyer a house to purchase a house. You're not making any income. And so, what happened is maybe after I got fired, I started in March of 31 of that year, and I didn't get the check until, June, 2 months later. So during that period at that time, I had to kind of figure this thing out. So at the time, the one thing that really inspired me, I went to my broker. I said, man, I can't do this, Mr. Copeland. Cecil Copeland and Joseph Hollis were two of my mentors. I mean, they were the best to me in that respect. So during the course of that time, I had to just, cut grass, whatever I could do.
That's right.
At the same time,
That's right.
I
Do
was
what you gotta
working
do.
towards a common goal. And so once I got my first check, my very first check, I took my family out to Sadie's
Yeah,
I
back in
remember
the day.
Sadie's. Woo.
on the
Back in the
Parkway.
day, yeah. the
Yeah.
Parkway.
And that was like my victory accomplishment, because to get a check based on your efforts is nothing more gratifying than that to me. So I was just ecstatic, and from that point on, I started making sales. I think I may have ended up during the course of that time. My first year was 6 months into it, maybe 10 sales or more.
Okay.
And the next year, because I had gotten a grasp of what to do,
Right.
how to go out and
How to play
shake
the game.
bushes.
Yeah.
And my mentors, in addition to Mr. Copeland and Mr. Hollins, were Roderick McKinney and Llewellyn Helene. The two of those guys there together, I kind of shadowed them.
Gotcha.
I watched what they were doing. And sometimes we just need somebody who know more than we know
Right.
Yeah, more
to
definitely.
get ahead, because we go into a situation thinking we know everything.
Right.
That's when you tend to fail.
But you have to be willing to accept being taught.
Exactly.
See, a lot of times I'm looking at, I'm seeing all these good qualities that you're talking about. And that's why I like to stop and point them out, because if we got younger men listening,
Right.
understand that he didn't do like I did. I went and picked up a pack back in the day. You know what I'm saying? It's a different.
Yeah.
He went and got a lawnmower. Now I do that now because I've learned better.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so my thing is all these different traits that you're doing is giving you a step by step of how faith go from one particular to the
Exactly.
next, to the
Exactly.
next, to the next. All you have to do is keep moving.
That's right. That's
Okay?
right.
I just want to make that point, but because I'm getting all these good.
Yeah, and you're right, Tim. And so with that, you have to just pick yourself. Can't have a pity party during the course of the time when you feel like you're on the island. You're self-employed. There's no income. Got to have that vision. Keep that vision, your focus before you, and not get distracted. You need a support system. From what I've learned over the years, somebody that's kind of, like I say, just going to encourage you, to inspire you. And then this is the other thing. When I worked as an agent, I never got around other agents per se. I stayed within my lanes. I never went out and socialized a whole lot. Now we call it networking, but a lot of agents I see now, they use it as the means just to, goof off. You miss out on valuable time just to say, hey, prospecting. Now, if we're going to have a luncheon, it's going to be about you, my client, you telling me about somebody else that's going to buy a house
About
or get
business.
ready
Yeah.
to list a house. So
Yeah.
that's the only time I like to try to come together. It's good to go to these galleries and these different functions, but overall, if you're not coming out of there with a buyer that you got for me or a seller, then that's
Waste
just
my time.
yeah, it's a time stealer. So I've learned over the years that made me successful, and I thank God for it, is that I just had that I stick to it, and I talk about. When the tough
Determination.
is going. Yeah, determination. So when the tough gets going, you got to get going with it. So you got to do something about it. So I've always looked at the idea. I had a goal for myself every day. How many calls I'm going to make? How many people I want to see? Back in the day when it was safe, we used to go knock on doors prospecting for sellers to sell who wanted to sell their homes. Now you don't have to do that. You have all these lead generated things to kind of help facilitate your business.
The algorithm.
Exactly. So for me, back in the day, we did it from the ground up. We would just go knock on doors. Just giving experience and idea. Back in the day, when East Birmingham was being relocated because of the flood zone, was called Village Creek, right by Shields.
I used to live on Appalachia
Yeah,
Street.
they know about it.
So Tim, you know about that area.
Man, listen, I used to have to swim to school.
Exactly.
We had a little flatbed boat. I had to put the sisters in there. Come on, we roll down the street till we get to the dry spot.
Exactly. So, Tim, you can identify with it.
Yeah.
So, back then, it used to get flooded often. And so, what happened, the Corps engineers, Army Corps engineers came in and mandated that it was a health hazard.
Okay.
So, everybody got relocated. So, Uncle mine, Jerry Fleming, who's now deceased, he told me about a friend of his who needed to move in his family. And from that point on, I went over there and started every house. I mean, I have so many houses. Like, man, this is a gold mine. So I kind of charted out my own course. I was going to go knock on every door and let them know I can help them relocate. And so that's how my world and how I was blessed to get going. And every time the little kids would see me, they say, hey, they go to house, man. You know?
They knew who you was.
They knew who I was. Yeah. So, I was thankful, and I helped a lot of families from that point of time, in that period of time, we could relocate. And so I knew if they were tenants, they were getting $5,250 to relocate. So back in that time, back in '91, when I started, you can do what they call assuming equity, non-qualifying equity. You can go in and get somebody's equity, buy them out, and especially if the house was an FHA loan. It was done prior to December of 1989. So there were a lot of houses out there, a lot of folks that wanted to sell. You didn't have to worry about the financing. So a lot of the residents were blessed to assume somebody's equity out of the house, and they may want to put some monies with that.
Okay, let me ask you, what is equity? So people listening to know exactly.
Right.
They don't know what equity is.
So equity, which is your investment into your property. That's why it's so key to keep the yard up, keep it clean, keep the maintenance on it, plumbing, electrical, heating, the whole 9 yards. So the equity is the difference between what you owe and what the core market value is going for. Just with round figures, just say you owe $50,000. Well, guess what? The market is demanded in your community $100,000. So guess what? You have $50,000 worth of equity built into your home that you can extract, that you can actually write off. And so that's the benefit of home ownership. I just want to talk about that.
Okay, so now you saying that these people had equity from people who they bought the house from. That's what you're saying?
Right. Well, what I'm saying is that, so what happened is when you did a non-qualified equity assumption, they may have, during that time, housing value wasn't as high as it is now, but during that time, Tim and Glendale, you could go in and the person may have owed, maybe around number 30,000, and you go in with an assumption, the equity may have been 10,000. But I was saying with that, some of those folks who were getting $5,250, they had to add to it. And there were some homeowners who got $30,000 and $40,000. They went in and bought the equity with the monies they were getting. And so, therefore, they paid the seller what they wanted. So the main thing, most sellers were happy with whatever they were agreed to.
Because they were ready to get out their water.
Yeah.
And then the snakes, the water markers were down there.
Exactly.
Big old rats.
Exactly.
And number woods around. I mean, I used to go hunting out there.
The street. Yeah.
I used to hunt for possums and alligators and all that.
So let me ask you this, Carl.
Yeah.
So you went from, I remember you said when you first started, 2 months before you got your first check.
Yeah, in 2 months, yeah.
So after that, how often?
So from
once
that
you
point,
figured it out.
So this is my thing. So my faith was really, built up into when I prayed to the Lord, I don't want to ever work for nobody again. I believe in the idea of tithing.
Okay.
That's giving God back 10%,
10%,
of what you owe him. So for me, that blessing came about as a result of me tithing. I know God honors that, isn't without a doubt. He says in Malachi 3, 10 and 8 to 10. So I believed in that wholeheartedly. But aside from that, I had to put some works with it. So after that, it seemed like it came, on a regular basis. I'm going to tell you this, that was 91. So in the year of 94, I had progressed, was building up a clientele. And everybody I saw, what I would do is send out Christmas cards to everybody. Every year, every client I sold a house to, and I was building up my base.
Yeah.
The year of 1994, I hit the $2 million plateau. That's sales, home sales.
Right.
So I was getting those accolades, those accomplishments during the course of that time. So just to kind of share with you what that's equivalent of, that 1994, it was $2 million worth of sales. I sold 52 homes in that given year. So that's the equivalent of a house
That's a
every
week.
week.
Yeah.
And so how agents calculate that now, they calculate that if you sell a house, you get 2 sales. So if I had to go back and look at it as 104 houses, I would have sold in. But that equates to me, and the housing price was low. That was almost $30,000 per house.
Yeah.
So imagine what it would be like
Yeah.
now. And I think during that time, I was able to blessed to reach all the accolades, the accomplishments. You had we called it the $1 Million Sales Club back then.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, guys, back in the day, my mom was so proud of me. She said, "Yeah, Carl's a millionaire."
That's my baby.
That's my baby.
Oh.
Hercules.
Yeah. No, see, you didn't get what she's saying.
Yeah.
We are millionaires.
Yeah, that's what she was saying right there.
We's rich now.
Yeah. So, so I was just, I laughed. I said, "Mom, listen, don't say that. I'm not a millionaire. I sold $1 million
Yeah.
house in sales volume." And she overlooked that. "No, my baby, he done sold $1 million. He's a millionaire." I'm like, "Mama, don't say that."
Don't tell me.
And so what happened, it got so bad at the board of realtors, the MLS system here, they changed that to the Club of Excellence because sometimes, you see real estate agents, they rocking and rolling, they got money.
Yeah.
That's not always the case. That's just the thing that comes with it. So Mom, she kind of laid low on that, but every time she saw me, and then too, they used to put it in the newspaper.
In the paper.
Print.
Yeah.
You had the $1 Million Sales Club. You had people who had $1 million in sales, $2 million in sales, 3, 4, 5, certain levels. And during the course of that time, I think I was one of 3 blacks. It was Carl Scott, Tina Todd, and myself. We were only 3 blacks during that time that had reached the $2 million plateau at that time. Now it's we kind of paved the way. So now there are agents out there now doing an abundance of sales in a given year.
Now Tina is my sister-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tina's good.
Oh, so
sister.
that's the one.
Right.
Okay.
Now Sean was gonna come today,
Okay.
but she had to show some houses. We'll see her next week.
Yeah.
But let me ask you something. Like, okay, now we talking real estate. Now I be watching the TV.
Yeah.
$1 Million post, whatever they, them folks doing
Listings
all
or
the $1 Million
whatever.
listings and all that. You know what I'm saying?
That's real. Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's like, that's real now.
okay.
Don't play with it.
And then okay, how do you say if somebody wanted to get started, what would they have to do?
Yeah. So in order to be a licensee to sell property and to receive a commission from, you have to be licensed. So what I've done, I've been blessed after my 31 years in the business to come back and open up my real estate school, Christian School of Real Estate.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah.
it. And so what one has to do is to sit under me. I've been certified and sanctioned by and approved by the Real Estate Commission, who governs my license and all the licensees in the state of Alabama, to have my school open. That you have to take 60 classroom hours to get certified.
Right.
And that could take you up to 6 to 10 weeks.
Okay.
My whole idea about doing real estate school, I don't want everybody to be a career student. That's some people say, I'm in school. But my whole idea and my premise, because I never put a schedule out there, that you got to finish a certain time. It's according to your effort, according to your faith almost. And I want to put it out there that you finish according to how much effort you put into it. Exactly.
Yeah, how much you put in, yeah.
And so the motivation has to come from within. Now, my job is to put it out there. And it's your job to study the material. And I want to make sure that you are informed enough and skilled enough and taught well enough by me to make sure that you know how to prepare to take the exam. Now, once you take the exam, it's 140 questions. You have to make 70% of that, which is half of that, and pass with a 50% pass ratio, and to get your license.
So how many times did it take you to pass?
Yeah, that's a good question. Twice.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me twice. I'm not a good tester. I'm nervous. I'm one of those guys that, hey man, I missed it. But this is the thing that motivated me. During the course of the time, I took it the first time I lost. So we had to, back in the day, you had to wait almost 2 weeks to get the results back. Now you can get them back instantly.
Okay.
And so I was given one last time. So my wife at the time said, hey, listen, we ain't got no more money. This is it. You got to do it. So I did it.
So you don't get but 2 chances to
You
do
can
it?
get as many chances
Okay.
as you
Yeah,
want to.
he was saying that was it.
That was it for you.
That was
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Hey, you don't get
Yeah.
no shot. You got to find another career.
Exactly. Exactly.
It seemed like to me that's your motivation when you're back against the wall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's that DB in you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That put him on the corner.
Yeah.
Don't let him
He just
push
beat
him out the end zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's that DB.
Yeah. So having said that, my whole thing was, hey, I'm not a good tester, and I don't expect the students when they come to be. Most people aren't good testers. You know the stuff, but it's something about freezing up and getting nervous. And sometimes I want to share them with them. Don't give up. So my drive, and I remember that prayer I had prayed to the Lord. Hey man, I don't want to work for nobody again.
I know
So
that.
drive was there for me to make sure I passed it. So when I passed that test, man, I jumped for joy. I called the broker, Mr. Copeland, at the time. I said, Mr. Copeland, I got my license. He said, come see me.
Yeah.
Interview me. Bam, I was right there. I only interviewed. I talked to 2 other companies. I only interviewed 1 company. I knew where I was going.
Right.
Yeah.
You just had to get the paper.
I just had to get the paper. Yeah.
Well, let me
So-
ask you this: as far as your school, is this hands-on teaching or virtual? I mean, how is it?
Yeah. My whole thing of it is, good question, Linnell. My whole thing is I'm going to be live. I'm going to be the instructor.
Gotcha.
I want to speak from experience, speak from a knowledge of what it takes to become a good realtor in some of the language. I don't want to talk to the students above their head. I want to talk beneath them. I want to meet them right there in the middle so I can help, answer those questions. And sometimes you can use some big words on folks. And I'm like, we've all been in classes. The teaching, you're skilled, you're impressive. But I'm not trying to impress nobody. I'm trying to impress upon you that you could do this. Because I say, hey, if I could do it, anyone can do it.
Okay.
And not to belittle myself, but to say that anything you do in life or any pursuit you take on, you just got to have that drive.
Okay.
And so my class is only $349.
All right.
And here's the thing that I've done. There are a lot of great schools out there, and they produce a lot of great agents who are doing extremely well now. So what I've looked at, when I started Don Williams School of Real Estate, the course was $175.
Okay.
The thing I liked about Don back then was that I didn't have all the $175. He said, man, just give him half of it. He said, pay him another half when you get it. So he's willing to work with me. So every time someone asked about a real estate school, when I became an agent successful, I sent them to Don because I had to give back because he helped me. And I didn't have the money to do it.
Okay.
So the same thing concept, those students who are wanting to take real estate, want to do this, they feel like, hey, I don't have all the money. Hey, let's talk about it. We can work something out.
Set something up.
Yeah, let's set something up. We'll make a
So you say you going live? I mean, in person or online?
I'm in person.
In person.
In person.
Okay.
And here's the thing also about doing online. Because of COVID, a lot of what the commission did, they allowed a lot of virtual Zoom classes to take place. But I find it hard. It takes a real disciplined person to get the license online to do Zoom because the attention span is so short. And then you can't talk back to the individual to ask questions because live, like I'll be, you can ask me questions. I'm right there, got an instant answer.
Yeah.
So that's why the benefits of doing it. And then the two, I was, supposed to open up 2 years ago, and I just say, Lord, wait till this COVID thing get over with, become safe, and we are going to utilize COVID safety practices in my class. Mask, have those. Hopefully, been vaccinated, but we just want everybody to be safe.
Yeah.
Social
And I remember
distance.
you telling me we saw each other in Walmart a while
we did.
ago. You said I'm about to open up a school.
Sure did.
You did that.
Sure did.
Yeah.
And so what I was saying about that price, $175 then, and I've only made it half of that, double that.
Yeah.
And I don't know anyone for what prices they charge to offer the classes, but I want to make it affordable.
Okay.
My whole thing of it is I'm not trying to work off volume. I'm trying to work off quality.
Quality.
Let me ask you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're fine, Tim. So what I look at, I don't want I want people to come, but I want people to come with drive, because what happens is if you get an influx of folks, they come in and they don't pass. They say, well, I didn't learn anything. Why? I just, it's almost like the point when I started out after high school, I was part of the Marine Corps and I joined the Marine Corps for a brief stint there. And their motto is the few, the proud, the Marines. So I just want a few folks that are willing to come. I want whosoever will come now.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking my business, but I want people who are coming, who have a desire to complete this in a short length of time. And I say the short length of time, the retention level is so short.
Yeah.
And that if you wait 10 weeks, 6 weeks, well, guess what? You're still in the class. So I want to get you in and get you out. So my class is going to be open Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon.
Okay.
And from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And each core lesson is 4 hours. You get 4 hours per class session. Conceivably, you can finish, in probably 4 weeks or less if a person came every day. But then also, just don't come just to get out, but come and understand what you're talking about and know. And this is like people going to any school, professional school. You may not know it all when you get out and practice, but you know how to access it. You know how to tap into it, where to pull from. And then it's okay to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because most people in sales and even in real estate, if you don't know something, hey, go to somebody who does. Say, hey, let me get back to you, that kind of thing. So I want my students, because their success, my pass ratio is where I'm based on. I'm gauged on that. I'm governed by the Real Estate Commission, and they grade me on my success ratio. So every student that comes through the doors who passes, my success depends on their success. So if I'm successful, it's because of them passing the class. Yes.
So what I want to ask you, what type of incentive? Say I don't know anything about real estate. I got my last $400 right here. My last 400. You know what I'm saying? I got my last 400.
$2.
I'm not gonna lose. What gonna make me come and say, not just the fact that you just gave me how the school run. What is about real estate that so attractive? Because a lot of times people say, I'm going to real estate school, but then they say they get in there and you don't never sell no damn house.
Yeah.
Now the people I'm meeting now, and I don't know if I just came to a whole nother level. All the people I'm meeting now that's doing real estate are actually
real estate doing it.
I mean, they. You know what I'm saying? But back in the day, you had the sheets. You remember sheets?
Yeah.
The sheets, the folks come on TV.
Carter
sheets. I bought
my
the
wife
sheets.
bought them.
Flipping and stuff,
Trying to figure out, how to do them when you get off in two. And a couple more of our partners, they doing other things. But what would make you just say, okay, you working at Eckers Drug, and all of a sudden now you want to say, I'll take my check and go to real estate. What's the benefits of it?
Yeah, the benefit of real estate is this. It's the the least expensive investment you can make to be an entrepreneur.
Say that again.
Speak all the way into the mic.
Yeah.
Speak.
Yeah. Real estate is the single most inexpensive, the least expensive investment you can make in yourself, where you don't have an overhead to be an entrepreneur. You're an independent contractor. You're not governed or mandated by anybody to sell anything. Let me just give you this part. My investment in myself, that same $175 that I didn't have all, that Don Williams allowed me to get in, it has reaped dividends countless times over and over again.
Tell it.
And so, and I say that from a standpoint, even if you didn't get in and want to engage in retail sales or anything, it's the knowledge. You can never get enough in investing into yourself.
Yeah.
Some people may spend $349. That's the equivalent of maybe taking the whole family out to a fancy restaurant. But why not invest in yourself? So that investment, again, has paid dividends for me. And not only that, Tim and Liddell, it's good to have knowledge. Even if you just bought properties for yourself. Now, you talked about Carlton Sheets and all those other guys who are doing flip houses and stuff. I've done that.
Okay.
Countless times. Been successful at it. But my whole energies and all my income derived from coming from retail sales. That means helping individuals, buyers and sellers come together to consummate a transaction, as we call it, or closing. Closing day when everybody get paid, not just the realtor. Everybody gets paid. Title company.
Everybody wants to close.
Everybody wants to close. So closing is the consummate entity that we all strive for.
Okay,
that's a paycheck. That's payday.
Yeah.
But that Tim is the driving force. You can't go wrong.
So you got it. You telling me that you can take $349, $350. Slide it over here. Yeah. Then you ain't got to get $350 today. You can take $100 this week, $100 next week, $100 week out of that, and 50 more.
Yeah.
And bring it to you, and then you can be free from the matrix of somebody saying, "Hey, you fired."
Yeah. Oh man, without a doubt. Yeah.
Don't come back here.
Yeah. So one of the things I had that that thing. You know how we all reflect on our lives, what happened. I think about that. What if? What if I hadn't taken the initiative? What if I hadn't been led by the vision I saw or the inspiration that I had from seeing somebody else successful? So again, that success came as a result of seeing my partner Roger McKinney, how he excelled. I'm like, man, Roger doing that, and he worked in the same office that I eventually ended up with.
So peer to peer is good. See, now we done fell out of that, talking each other up,
Right.
Helping each other out,
Right.
Being there for you. Now, some reason that done got lame for some people. It's still cool as hell to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's not, even within the scriptures, it say two is better than one.
Exactly.
Okay, so if you can find some people who can motivate you to do, and to not to do, but to be a better you, then why not? So a lot of times in what we're dealing with now in these communities, the reason stuff like this is not being really magnified is because people don't want to get taught,
Right. Exactly.
and they don't want to learn. That sounds like the same thing. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want to do it, but they want the money.
Exactly. And see, real estate is oftentimes looked at too as that get rich quick type setup. And it's not that. Anytime you're going to labor behind something or want something, you have to lay the foundation for yourself. Then another thing, Tim and Lindell, what I recommend, if you're going to do real estate, stay away from negative energy, negative people altogether. And that was happen, kill a lot of our dreams.
Dream killers.
And talked us out of so many.
Exactly. I never told anybody I was getting a real estate license. They knew. I'm a realtor. I'm calling you. And my very first sale came from my cousin, Charles and Susie Reese. And I sold their home, so that got me started. So the networking aspect of it is every time I went somewhere, even now today, I'm always geared up with business cards. I got them in my pocket now.
I keep them on deck.
Hey, like that.
It'll work.
And one of those cards say, hey, don't leave home without it. So I'm like that. I never leave home without a business card to pass. I come in the stores, in a subliminal way, it's a soft sell. Hey, listen, if you're looking for somebody that's looking to buy a house or sell a house, keep me in mind, please. And that's how I know I'm looking. So,
is it harder to sell now or back when you first started?
Now you got so many of these social media outlets. We didn't have Facebook back then.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys what the difference then and versus now. Back then, we used to have to get a Jefferson County map book of the city of Birmingham.
Oh Lord.
And you have to know the coordinates, how you put A, match up with a number.
Yeah.
Well,
Latitude, longitude,
Yeah.
So back then, guys, we used to have to get the buyers or in this case, meet us at the office so they could follow us because they never knew what a house was.
Oh.
Now, so GPS,
Send me the address.
Yeah.
they've seen the house online. All I gotta do is show it to them and write it up.
Yeah.
Back then, we didn't have that luxury.
Gotcha.
Sometimes I had to go preview to make sure I looked professional, that I knew what I was doing and where the house was. I used to have to go to Forestdale. I used to have to go to Bessemer, have to go other places to find out where the house was. So when I got with my client, I knew how to get right to it. So the difference is that you have more of these what they call lead generated outlets that you can buy leads from people. You could buy listing leads, buyer leads, and that's the big difference. Back then, True Grit, you just know somebody that knows somebody. Even now, I'm from the old school. Hey man, a classmate. Now I've been blessed with selling a lot of friends, my family, classmate houses over the years, and church members. So that's been my blessing in that respect. So it's about networking, then versus now, social media. We didn't have all of that.
So let me ask you this: if I get a realtor license here, this is the only place I can sell real estate.
No. Good question, Tim. We have what we call reciprocal states, meaning that state has the same guidelines as Alabama. You can go to Atlanta. You got some agents who are dual agents, dual license. They're licensed in Atlanta, Georgia, and they're licensed here in Alabama. Same in Florida. So it's called a reciprocal license that you have.
Okay, so you telling me? Wait a minute now. See, you been telling all the good shit. You got to pull the good shit out of you. See, now I just pull some more good shit out. So for $300, that's $100, $115 in this state, $115 in this state, and $100 and what? How much is it? $10, whatever it is, in this state.
Yeah.
So you done spent, you done paid less for what you paid in 90 to practice this in each state.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, yeah. It opens up man, gosh, and a whole assortment of opportunities for you. It's so indispensable. It's a value that you always take with you.
Man.
It has to be a passion too, not just the money aspect. There's some of the things that I've derived, and I have countless stories to tell over the years. But one of the biggest stories that really kind of lit a fire me was gratifying. It's almost better than getting a check. It's seeing that first-time home buyer who never thought they could buy, and I converted them and put them in the house, and they're just so elated, and they just tell everybody about you. I never forget once that I had one client I sold a home to. She basically lived in Kingston Projects, and she said, I got to get my babies, her girls were like 13, 14, going into teenage girl years, adolescent years, and she told me, she said, hey, does it take $20,000 to get out of here? I said, no. So she didn't know it's a miseducation. So what I was able to do to help facilitate her from the Kingston Project into her own house, it was, gosh, maybe a fraction of what she thought she had to
Right.
be. And she just tooted my horn to everybody she knew and still stay in touch with. And so those are some of the gratifying instances that I can say that I've experienced.
You just proved another thing. Now, me and my wife was talking today. We always find cliches that we find as we got older that was some bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't do these.
Yeah.
So the cliche I just heard when you said that was, what you don't know don't hurt you. That's a lie. Because what you don't know,
Cliche talk. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Because we'll fall for that and we won't learn.
Yeah.
Right.
Because what you don't know won't hurt you. That's not true.
Right.
Because exactly what you don't know can hurt you. Because by her not knowing that, it would have
Yeah, she was
get
crazy.
you some education. It ain't got to
Right.
be school education, but learn what's going on in this world and what you can make for yourself.
Exactly.
That type of education. If you don't want to work for nobody, learn what an entrepreneur can do and what entrepreneurs do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be sitting in nowhere. You just taught me something that I was like, because in my mind, real estate was like, real
soaking
estate.
Yeah.
I'm still where you was in 90. I got to ride over here. I ain't thinking about leads and the other states. I ain't thinking about none of that.
Yeah. Good
You know what
I'm
I'm
soaking
saying?
it up.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Sure.
Explain to the people the difference in renting and owning, because a lot of people just say live in apartments. And I always try to get them to understand it's like flushing money.
Right. It is.
It's literally like if you can position yourself to own, you'll be so much better. But I get it. Some people like, well, I don't want, I get this.
Yeah.
I don't want no big house. I don't want no house. I don't want all that responsibility.
Exactly.
And-
So, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
they do that. They're not going to get it because they're speaking it out of existence anyway.
Exactly.
As long as you speak like that, you're not going to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question, Liddell. One of the core benefits of having a home is that you can write off the interest. It's a tax benefit. It's a tax break. It's the only break we can have to write off the interest on the mortgage payments. And then not only that, as we talked about earlier, Tim, when you talked about equity, you got monies that you can borrow off your house. And you can't borrow money out of nobody's apartment that they own.
Bing!
Because you're paying their mortgage for
Bing!
them.
Exactly.
So it's always a benefit. And then not only that, and this is my thing, is that you can't leave your kids, and I believe in the Bible says leave an inheritance for your children's children. My thing with it is you can't leave nobody's apartment to them because it's not yours. But you can leave your house.
Exactly.
You can leave that,
Exactly.
and that's vested interest. And you can take out a life insurance policy. So once we all got expired, once you expire, the house is paid for, and they're living mortgage free the rest of their lives.
Listen.
That's how wealth is built.
Listen.
And I'm telling you, so I had my uncle. I never understood. So he buy houses.
Okay.
I didn't find this out till later though. But when we were younger, I noticed he'll stay in that house 7 or 8 years. Around that range.
Yeah.
He ended up getting a new house.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But when I found out later on, not through him, but I just found out all he was doing is taking the equity out that house.
That's right.
Buying another one.
Paying it each time he moved.
Yeah.
He was putting down more monies, had more monies to put down, and he was paying. Sometimes I've seen clients that walk in just pay cash for a house,
Yeah.
and they're mortgage free.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there. It's the thing. The thing about it is, if we keep ourselves locked up in a little shell with people who not doing and not going anywhere, that's where we're gonna stay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to get out here and see what this world really has to offer.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We still stuck in these neighborhood thinking minds where and ain't nothing wrong with neighborhood, because neighborhood is where we come from, but I'm talking about small mind.
Right.
Let's expand ourselves, because we bigger than what we think. You know what I'm saying? We sitting right here talking to somebody that
Knowledgeable.
just said to himself and to his God, I'm not gonna work no more. He didn't go nowhere and they said, I'm gonna offer you $1 million for this, come sign this club. He was broke.
And then started his own.
Nothing but his determination to move.
And tell them the name of your school. Tell them the
Yeah,
name
it's
of your
Christian School of Real Estate.
School. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christian School of Real Estate.
Yes, Christian School of Real Estate, and
When do it open?
well, we open. It starts next Monday.
Next Month.
22nd.
On the
Gotcha.
22nd. And anyone, you have my website. It's Christian School Real Estate.
Okay.
They can go to www.christianschoolrealestate.com. You can enroll. You can get signed up there. And I'm excited for the
Man, you
fact
seem
that.
so knowledgeable. Like,
Thank you, Lynette. I know a
you
little
know,
bit.
and
A little
look,
bit.
so I'm not saying like, because I don't want to be like, I'm finna do that.
Yeah.
But you know, I have thought about getting in that lane. 'Cause, you know, I want to buy property. I want to have, you know, I want to be able to leave my kids.
Yeah.
Which, like I say, me and my wife, we've been living in our house over 20 years.
Yeah.
I definitely want to be able to, you know, be able to leave my kids, my grandchildren and stuff.
Yeah, and you want to do that, and not only that. And I say, just because like real estate is good for people who are retired, they they want to do something different, and real estate is a good fit for folks who are educators, also retired educators, because they're so patient, they're so knowledgeable, and the key success that you'll ever derive from real estate or any other profession, you got to listen to what your client wants. Listening is the one entity I think that's a good. Safe, I could say,
Quality
to have that will help make you successful. Because if you're doing all the talking, you don't know what nobody wants.
Let me ask you this: when did you know you were gonna start your own school?
Gosh, then my whole thing. I'm at the age now where I've been blessed to achieve some of the successes of real estate, buying houses, flipping houses. I just want to be able to leave a legacy to give back. To help somebody, because I look at the fact that I still sell houses now. Don't get it wrong.
He's like, don't get it twisted.
Yeah, yeah, because I want to be able to bring to the clients my experiences still. I still got clients that call me.
Okay.
I've been blessed to have a whole good referral base. I hadn't had the prospect, thanks to God, but I just get referrals and folks say, hey, you sold me a house, help my client. Okay. And so with that, I just say, hey, I want to be in a position to give back. And I think my school 2 years ago, I think I had to been back in before December of 2019. I was going around. I got involved in the school, and I said I was going to open up in 2020, but COVID hit.
All right.
So we had to parlay that somewhat until now. So it was still in the back of my mind. I'm passionate about it. Man, I just can't wait. Because my success, it's like having a good quality team of any sport.
And you glowing. You glowing with it.
Yeah, so thank you. So my thing is just, I want to see the success of others.
Yeah.
Help them be able to be a big brother.
Okay.
To anyone who comes under my class to say, hey, what do I do in this situation? Because I've been a broker. I am a broker. I'm an associate broker now with a company that I'm with now, EXP Realty. And so my whole thing is to be able to pick somebody up. Even my kids, they're excited.
How many kids you got?
I have three.
Okay.
I have two sons, CJ, Nicholas, and Lauren, my daughter. And the funny thing about it, my sons have taken the course online 2 times or so. And they didn't pass. But now I'm
You finna come to school, right?
They had to teach them. I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna show you.
Yeah. So they're gonna have the same standard, same criteria for everybody else. But I think me teaching it now will help them get over the hump.
Cool.
And then too, I want to share this with you guys. Anybody who's been frustrated, busted, disgusted, all about not passing this time, I want to talk to them too. My school is open to anyone, but I want to help those individuals to come back to me and let's talk about it. I don't mind assessing what may have gone wrong. And sometimes it's just the quality of putting time into something. anything that's worth having is worth investing your
And
time.
worth working for.
Yeah, so you got to have some goals as well. So I want to kind of help them know that you can come to my class. I'm going to teach it from a real simple basis that you can.
You're gonna make it where
understand.
it's not
Above their head.
it's not quantum physics, in which basically it's not. It's common sense really once you learn the mechanics of it. Like just sitting here talking to you, I'm saying, okay, I know equity. I know if I do this, and this.
Yeah.
I just found out that I can pay tax on the interest of the mortgage. I'm learning all this stuff here. I might not write it down, but I got a photograph. But so these type of things, like I say, what you don't know won't hurt you. That's a lie.
Exactly.
You got to learn. Let's learn.
Exactly.
And then, but just pick what you want to learn. If you're interested in real estate, we finna have some real estate folk come on. We not only have Christian real estate. We're gonna have other real estate people. We're gonna show you that there's so many different ways to do this. Not just them.
Yeah.
Different people credit everything. We want to open the doors because it's time out for us thinking that we are in a system of lack. We do not lack anything. We have abundance.
Exactly.
We have just as well as we got abundance of people that's coming on teaching and showing. We have abundance of people who need it and can grow with it.
That's right.
You got to think about that.
Yeah.
Stop sitting around saying what you can't do. Understand what you can do.
Exactly. Exactly.
So people, y'all heard that. Look, Carl got to school. He's willing to teach. He's very knowledgeable. I know he is. He's glowing. He's willing to teach. He wants
to teach.
Man, because you don't get a lot of that. You don't give, and I think we got away from passing information.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of time we get caught up in
hoarding.
Holding.
Yeah.
Or I don't want you to be more successful than me or pass me type
crab
move.
mentality.
Right. That's that lack mentality. Like it's not enough. It's more than enough for everybody.
Exactly.
It's more than enough, man.
And that's what I've always based my business on. I've always believed my prayer on a daily basis, Lord, there's somebody who's looking for my services. That may be a blessing to somebody else. And so God is always faithful. We just have to work. We can have all the faith in the world. Scripture says faith without works is dead. So for me, I know that it works because it's worked in my life. I like to leave that legacy for my kids, grandkids, and my children's children. To know that, and anyone in general, say, hey, you can do it if you put your minds to it. The scripture says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
What you won't know don't hurt you. That clear that up right there. My people destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Exactly.
So don't say that what you don't know gonna hurt you. He told you it would. Stop, man. Stop.
Yeah, so in the process of doing real estate, I've been able to sell my own personal houses and stuff. So my thing of it is, why not get paid for doing what you know?
What you love. Cause I see love in your heart with this. You deal with this.
You glowing with it.
Oh,
Let me ask you something real. First check, that first check you got.
Yeah. First
that
check
you waiting on.
The first check I got.
How much did that check?
Off that $59,900 house was $1,320.
That
so
cleared up everything.
Yeah. So I tied 10% of that. So I gave back $130. Yeah. So we went out to Sadie's and ate.
Sadie was good. You know it.
Yeah.
We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna be thrifty now. We're not gonna get crazy, man. We're gonna get in line.
So from that standpoint, God just really blessed from that vantage point on. Because I was like, having played sports, I made it. You treat your business like you're going to work with somebody else. I would get brokers. Always had a thing. It's good to be around some folks who are being a company of folks who are doing things. Brokers say, get to the office at 8 o'clock every morning. And I did that religiously. I still practice getting up early in the morning, being at work before 8 o'clock. Like I'm going to work for Carl Christian, not just
you, Carl Christian, going to work. You going to work for this company.
And see what I've noticed, man, a lot of times, being an entrepreneur, a lot of times we will work hard for somebody else.
Well,
trying to work for us, ourselves.
Yeah.
We make excuses.
Yeah. So that's when I've always had a model to get to work early. The early bird catches the worm. Because that would be folks calling in before they get to work, want to know about such and such before they got settled in. And I was always there on time. Then not only that, you incorporate, I still go to the gym every other day because that helps release all the stress
Yeah,
and it helps get your juices going, and that helps me. I incorporate that with playing golf. It has to be a balance. You just can't work all the time, but for me, that's real positive.
So when you gonna start teaching golf? I'm thinking about getting some clubs.
Y'all play.
Yeah, golf lesson can be up and down. I had to take some lessons, Tim, but you will enjoy it. Once you get into it, man, you'll get hooked. You'll enjoy it. It's nothing like, and it's just like real estate. You're an individual. You're not playing against anyone else. You're playing against the course.
Right.
Look,
Right.
shout out to my wife. My wife, the one, she said, "Baby, why don't you call Carl? He finna start at school."
Thank you.
So
So
shout
much.
out to my wife. Look, she keep me in line, and I said, "You know what, baby? You right."
Thank
Call
you so
Carl.
much. Hey, I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
Everything happening at the right time.
And just as I was excited about calling you, Carl was just excited about coming on.
Yes,
I really
sir.
appreciate that, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. You're
And,
welcome.
like I say, if it's anything else you want to say, we're finna get ready to get out here. You want to say anything before we go, man?
Give your website again.
Yeah, the website is christianschoolrealestate.com. It'll give you a whole litany of things to do to get signed up. It's real simple. It's not complex. It's scheduling hours, and it's according to your efforts.
Gotcha.
And so I welcome anyone that I can help that wants to become a realtor.
Okay.
Okay, man. Listen,
And thank
Fellow-
you guys more than anything.
fellow Colonel. You know,
Yeah, Tim.
you know, I came in when you was getting ready to go out, but you know what I'm saying. Like I said, he wasn't letting nobody get that number 7 for a while. So I'm
Yeah.
finally getting to meet number 7.
Yeah, number
Yeah.
7.
You know what I'm saying? And it's got to be the same one because y'all was just leaving.
Yeah.
So
you know what I'm
definitely,
saying?
man, we're gonna definitely be reaching out to you.
Hey, thank you, Linda. Appreciate
Like I
it.
say, anything we can do for you know.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Thank
we're finna get ready to get
Like
out of
and
here,
follow
man.
the podcast.
Yes,
Go on
yes.
YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's keep this going. We're trying to build a neighborhood along with building each other. All right.
Man, peace out, man. Love y'all.